Alright guys, back in the garage here. Lots of projects this winter taking place. Lots of projects. Got some suspension parts here, more suspension parts. I ordered a new set of heads that I'm currently working on porting these out. I just kind of started working in the pocket in the valve bowl area here. Haven't gotten too far with that. And I have some fittings in here for my catch can that I ordered for another off the valve cover. I got that going on. I sent this intake over and I went ahead and I sandblasted it. This was off the forged engine. I did a little bit of gasket matching on it before I installed it, but I'm actually going to clean it up and actually make it a little bit better than it was. So I got that going on. Another project that I went ahead and did was I modified the deck lid here to get the heat out of the trunk. The turbo sits in the trunk and it just gets really, really hot back there. And after a drive, I could put my hand up here on the top of the deck lid and it would be very, very warm to the touch. I mean, it wouldn't burn you, but you could definitely tell it was trapping heat. So I cut out parts of the deck lid here. I installed this mesh insert, and now the heat comes right up out of there of the trunk, which helps keep everything cool. I put a heat exchanger in that location for the intercooler. I took care of that. So I've been busy here in the garage, but this next modification, what we're going to do is we're going to work on this front suspension. All the back suspension has pretty much been replaced and is brand new. I'm going to do the front now. And so what I did is I ordered 1-inch RD lowering ball joints. I got some WCF lowering springs, and I'm going to tear the front end off here and replace those parts. They're original parts, and it's time to be done. From the factory, the front of the car on the 88s always sits higher than the rear, and my car just always seemed to sit way higher, or at least appeared to sit way higher than everybody else's. So if you look here, it seems like my fender is about 27.5 inches above the ground here. And it's about the same on both sides. I don't know if that's normal or not, but there's quite a gap here. So 24 inches to 27.5 inches, so there's a 3.5 inch gap there between the top of the tire and the fender. And on the back, it's probably like 2 inches, maybe. So hopefully the lowering springs will take care of this, and that's what we're going to get to work on today. So stay tuned. Here we go. And I finally have the original spring out. This is the original 88 spring. What was that? ARD is the code on there. And here's the WCF spring on the right. This actually works out to be approximately 2.5 coils cut off the front. And in order for me to remove it, pretty simple. I removed the bump stop, took the spindle off the lower ball joint, removed the tie rod, removed the whatever this is for the sway bar, this piece here, and I was just able to push down on the lower control arm like so, and I was able to pull the spring out. I did have to wrap some chains around the spring to tighten it up to get it out, but pretty simple process. Probably took about an hour or so. Not that long, not too difficult. So that's where we stand here. I'm going to go ahead and get this spring installed, and we'll see how she fits. I'm also going to be replacing the shocks while I have everything apart here. And you can see the difference in the length of the KYB here and the factory one. It's definitely longer. I don't think that'll make much of a difference or not. We'll find out. Alright, so the driver's side is done, and now we're over here on the passenger side. And this side was actually a little bit easier than the driver's side. The spring on this side popped right out nice and easy. I didn't have to chain it or anything like that to keep it compressed. This control arm actually dropped down quite low, when I was pushing on it, and then I was just able to get a screwdriver up in there and kind of get a screwdriver up in there, and I just wedged it out, and the whole thing, I was just able to pull the whole thing out. So this one was actually quite easy. No broken bolts, unbelievably, just like the other side. Nothing broke on the other side. And there's the old shock, so I'm going to put a new shock in on this side, put the lowering spring on this side. I'm not going to do the ball joints yet. I'm going to wait and see how this whole thing looks before I put the 1-inch lowering ball joints in. But pretty smooth so far. I'm actually very surprised. So let's go ahead and let's get this thing buttoned up here and lowered, and then we'll take a look and see what she looks like. All right, and she's all wrapped up, back on all 4 wheels. Everything went smoothly, and as you can see here, the car is a little bit lower on the front there. It actually worked out to be pretty much exactly 1.5 inches. I remeasured it, and I'm now at 26 inches from the lip to the floor here. And I got some weights on the top here to help settle in the springs. But without the weight on here, it's 26 inches. With the weight on, I measured it, it's 25.5. So if you remember, I started out at 27.5. And so 27.5 is where I started. And I'm now at 26, so exactly an 1.5-inch drop, just like WCF said they would be. And I'm going to let the weights kind of sit on the top here to help settle the springs a little bit. And I don't know if it'll make a difference or not, but I just want to put a little bit of weight on it. But she looks a lot better. I know it's kind of hard to tell here on video, but it looks a lot better. Now I can get the car over to have an alignment done, and then she's technically track worthy at that point in time. So it's getting kind of close to running at the track once I have the alignment done, and that's pretty much it. So that's where we kind of stand here with the front suspension. That's all wrapped up, at least for the time being. I still got the lowering ball joints, but I don't know if I'm going to put them in. It might be too low on the front now. We'll see how this kind of settles in and see what it looks like. But that's it for now, guys. Thanks. Stay tuned for more videos.